Hi everyone, I'm Heather. This is Heather the Sunflower Witch. So, why did I make this channel? There's a few reasons. So, one is, as you probably could guess, I'm a witch. I'm a pagan practitioner, and the deities that I work with had ushered me to do something that is a way to share my practice out, and then also be able to teach certain concepts through how my brain works. Because certain things, of course, every practice is different, and every practice is their own unique way. And by sharing this, it might help some of you guys that may be doing something similar feel, I guess, comforted that you see that. Or maybe you're wanting to start and then you're wanting to see just different ways to do your practice and just figure out what serves you best or what makes you feel like this is my practice. So that's part of the reason why I'm starting this. The other way is I'm connecting with my inner child. When I was younger, I have always wanted to do a YouTube channel, and specifically looking at gaming. And it's one of the things that I quite loved. I quite admire watching other people playing video games because of how well they do that. So I'm wanting this to also delve into that, where if I'm playing Stardew Valley, there's different challenges, or if I'm playing Pokemon, I might try Nuzlocke that I've never done, or maybe play through just some free-to-play game that helps other creators get well known. Even if it's as simple as that, I'm still playing games and I'm still connecting with my inner child while also just having fun, which is a big thing of mine. Is I want to have fun with what I'm doing. It's something I don't want to hold myself with other standards, because that's something that I tended to do, which was try to have a certain requirement or idea that I had to do, and if I didn't do it a certain way, then it wasn't good enough. So I'm hoping this will also kind of help with that by showing even not doing it the quote-unquote way that I want it to, that it'll just be something fun. There's also going to be just showing off who I am. So there's a lot of things that I like to do. I have an Etsy shop where I create stickers, I do readings, I have plans for crocheting or braiding or doing some sort of other types of products that I want to put on my Etsy shop, because it connects with my creativity side like this does. I've also wanted to write a book. It's something my mother has actually pushed for since I was in 5th grade, I think. And she was like, well, why don't you try publishing a book? And I always was like, well, I don't think so, because I didn't see myself that well. It wasn't until now that I'm like, okay, I've got a job, I've got things I've got things kind of regulated and stuff. Let's try. Let's just see what happens, because I mean, that's all you can do. All you can do is try. All you can do is just see what happens. It's not something that has a set way. So I guess that's how I'm seeing this as well. Then other things, so certain things that I want to share on this channel specifically is just readings in general. You'll probably see some tarot or oracle readings. Could be from my actual TikTok for my witchy stuff, or it could be some readings that I do like this to you guys. I might share some spells and rituals that maybe will give you guys an additional help or find ways to help with you. And then I want to talk about crystals and herbs. So a little bit about me is I'm a geologist. I graduated with my master's back August of 2022, and now I'm working as a geologist. So there's a lot of things with the crystals that I have kind of pulled apart as a geologist, and then as a witch, how that helps me. Which that's another topic, actually, that just reminded me. Another topic that I want to show you guys is the idea of science and magic, and how the two of them can come together, and how they almost coincide. So, and then of course with herbs, there are certain things that maybe can be used in different ways, especially when you look at a book. Then you're like, how do I interpret this to this level? Maybe getting other interpretations will help you make what you are needed to do. Another thing is I'm getting back to practicing my clarinet. So this is kind of in the works, but I might show some of the stuff that I play as a clarinetist to also just show some different sides of who I am. I also have some witchy tips, some topics that I've written down that I do want to make videos on and share to everyone who follows the YouTube channel or who wants to watch these videos. Then some of these tips and tricks that might help you, even if you are a broom closet witch, if you're as out in the open as ever, if you're Greek, if you prefer to work with Greek deities or Norse deities, then you have even just these small tips that will help you with your practice. Speaking of deities, I will probably also talk about deities, whether it's their mythology, whether it's working with them, whether it's just simple interactions that I've had with them. It's something that I can share and see, and maybe you can see some similarities with how you work with them. Maybe even just start questions, which is always a good thing. Questions help start conversations. So if you start to question, then you're able to learn more about what you're supposed to do. I think that's how I've been as a geologist, is asking what's next, or what needs to be done, or how does this mean to be this? Because if you don't ask questions, no matter how simple the question is, you don't know. So even just doing that will be helpful. I also have some tips and tricks on how to create your own readings. So that's something that I think isn't as talked about as much, which is like, how do you create your own readings, or how do you make your readings for you? And that's something that I do want to touch on. I also have done a little bit of shadow work, so I might be talking a little bit more on that. Of course, I'm not a licensed psychiatrist. I already said I'm a geologist. But there are certain tips, certain self-care things, certain ways of how I'm thinking that might help you with uncovering stuff from like inner teen, inner child, trauma, looking at your past and how it comes to the present. Anything of that nature, even just some small tips that might help impact you later on. And I'm kind of looking at the list and stuff just to kind of make sure that I'm talking about everything. Some more things is, how does certain topics in witchcraft connect with topics just kind of like philosophy or genealogy? Because there's always like ancestor work. So how does that connect with genealogy? Well, that's something that I've been looking into, especially because my mother's side is very well versed in the genealogy aspect. So how does that connect with working with ancestors? We're going to talk about altars. Like, how should an altar be? Or if I'm in the broom closet, what options do I have? This is something you can do. And then certain other just general topics that I'm planning to talk about is creativity. So maybe you feel like being creative, but people have been telling you it's just a hobby. Well, this is something we need to talk about. We need to have that conversation of do you really need to listen to that? Which is something that I've had to. We're going to talk about how to cut ties. It's sometimes someone's been really toxic to you and you don't need them in your life. So, you know, even just having that conversation might help out later on. Even if it's, and about me is I have had on my father's side is very, or I should say my biological father, he is narcissistic. So I've had to deal with narcissism from him and his mother. So how do you deal with that as you're growing up, and how do you break that down so it doesn't impact you later? On the gaming side, let's talk about that for a short second. On the gaming side is, like I mentioned before, there are certain games that I really like to enjoy to play, but I also want to do challenges. So something as simple as doing my first Nuzlocke, doing a 100-day run in Stardew Valley, doing a specific crop run in Stardew Valley, or doing a specific Create a Sim challenge from Sims 4. That's something I kind of want to just mess around with. And that might be just us talking in general. Maybe some of these topics will come up and I'll just talk about whatever I feel like talking about. And there could be just me showing you the highlights of what's been going on. So we'll see where that goes too. I'll probably also get a bit more in depth with the Etsy shop and then my writing side, because especially if you are looking at opening an Etsy shop, or you are looking at publishing, joining on my journey might actually help you figure out like what are some tips and tricks that maybe not many people talk about, or maybe some tips that aren't necessarily well versed in opening an Etsy shop or writing a book. There's also even just some writing tricks that maybe aren't the quote-unquote what you learned in school way. So, like I said, with the tarot readings, the tarot and oracle readings, they could be from any subject. So I could just do a general reading, whoever needs to hear this, and then give the reading. It could be a self-love reading, it could be just a general love reading, a soulmate reading, a shadow work reading, a what you need to let go of, a new moon, a full moon. It could be any sort of reading that could come from this. And it's just going to be kind of whatever I feel like recording will be on the channel. I also want with some gaming, on the gaming side, is to do even just like ranking videos of like what's the best marriage candidate in Stardew Valley in my personal preference, or what's my top 10 favorite Pokemon. Even something like this, it's just some fun one-off videos than any of the others. So this is going to be kind of an eclectic channel and almost kind of experimental in a way, because there are certain things that I might be doing, there's certain things I could be doing, even certain things that I haven't even thought of right now. Then you can figure they will show up in those videos. You might see something that I don't even mention right now as the intro video way long down the road, just because, hey, I thought of something new, let's do it. It's going to be always evolving, always changing. So I do hope you are wanting to join on this journey. Like I said, there's going to be some one-off videos. I'm probably also going to be posting some TikToks on here as reels, just to have some other videos on here. But overall, it's just going to be kind of a fun little channel. So I hope you join. If you do, feel free to subscribe. Feel free to like the video, and we'll see where the journey goes. Bye.